since we first set foot on Inazuma. So many things have happened since then. Yeah, we've definitely made... So, where should we go? Huh? Hey! What the heck was that for? Doesn't want to talk, huh? All right, let's convince him to calm down a little.
The wind knows me.
Show them. Come on out.
It's fine. One with nature.
Right now, emerge.
Time to go.
Huh? So you don't have a vision after all? Seems like I've mistaken you.
At the very least, you should make sure you... No, wait! Even when you've got the right person,
Have you ever met someone by the name of Kaedehara Kazuha? He carries a sword just like you. I've also heard that he possesses an animo vision. That's none of your business. Never mind. You don't look like you know anything anyway. I'm wasting my time.
What the heck is this guy's problem? Coming around here, waving that weird sword in our faces, and he didn't even apologize. Seems like a real nutcase. Well, one thing's for sure. No way are we telling him anything about Kazuha. Hey! Don't be... Anyway, just to be on the safe side, we should go find Kazuha right away and tell him to watch his back. Oh? What kind of hunch? A special connection? You mean beyond already knowing? Anyway, there's no time to lose. Paimon heard that the Crux fleet is stocking up in Rito at the moment. Let's look for him there.
Wind strike. Clouds high. The birds.
Dissipate. Yeah. I'll settle this. Right here.
Propagate. Fallen leaves adorn my night. Let's get down to business. Scatter!
Nothing lasts forever.
Wind strike. Clouds high. The birds call. Finally, no. Brings a smile to my face.
Kazuha is.
You're looking for Kazuha too, huh? Guess he must have done something impressive after all. Well, we took the small vessels into Rito on a routine supply run, only this time, as soon as we if it's because of that battle on Nizuchi Beach, Captain Beto had a great run there too, but I don't see her getting this kind of attention. Kazuha keeps to himself most of the time. In fact...
Oh, so...
I've heard bits and pieces. Is it really as big a deal as everyone's Really? Wow. When you put it like that, it all makes sense. He was called away earlier by some people from the Tenryou Commission. They said they had something important to discuss with him. I thought they'd come to arrest him at first. Turns out they could...
Just a little while ago, this would have been Thank you! Guess we'll go...
All right, then.
We'd like to... Do you know if anyone around here...
Aha! So this is the renowned Mr. Kaedehara. I've heard a lot about you.
You are too kind. We are currently investigating an...
Oh? You were targeted in an Mr. Kaedehara is currently To be honest with you, our detective agency has recently been... Some of them were offering us millions of mora just to gather...
Millions?
Please, accept my thanks for...
Of course. No matter what, we only take on legitimate cases. We don't make our... Sorry, I got a little off topic. But I wouldn't know where to begin.
Then let's put that connection aside for now. The Tenryou Commission had very few...
It's true that the commissioners aren't clued up about it. If anyone had...
Uh-oh. Looks like the...
I still find it few people possess your prowess in battle. I am well aware it would cause me great grief to see for the poor victim. This
Don't worry. We'll find...
between the two clans. After I returned to Inazuma, I visited Mr. Let me quickly explain. The techniques of blade making were personally bequeathed to the Radeon. Unfortunately, a series of...
So...
It is a great pity indeed. As an example, there is nothing. As for the...
That's right. For only a blade thus...
Indeed. You are, without a doubt, the most worthy wielder of an Ishin blade.
You overestimate me. But let's get back on... We hope to assist with the...
Ah, yes. He didn't say a word before he left. But I've done what I can.
We heard that there was a...
Yes. I believe he went to collect the item from... Yes. Strange, isn't... If I had to guess, he's never been particularly interested in... He is
Truth be told, based on the evidence...
What? No, he is humble and... Yes. If there's one but... With that, I also cannot know what... Anyway...
Don't worry. You have our word.
From the sound of that, Paimon doesn't think Yuya was the one...
Yes. It sounds as if something happened. Let's pay a visit.
I'm very sorry. My husband has gone missing.
No. You misunderstand us. We are here to...
Ah, I see. I'm sorry you have to see me in this dreadful...
I'm afraid we don't have any new information at the moment. With this in mind...
For example...
He'd always get so animated when everything was fine when we first...
Uh-oh.
He lost his sense of restraint. Our expenses really spiraled out of control when he started getting interested in weapons. He wouldn't sell them, wouldn't even touch them. I'm happy he has a hobby, and I'm on the last day that I...
Whoa!
And that led to an argument.
Actually, it didn't. Generally, he's a quiet man who likes to go with the flow. On most things, he leaves the decision-making to me. You must understand, I never would have dreamed of threatening him with divorce if the debts hadn't pushed our family to the brink. After I said those words, he froze and was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, he awkwardly mumbled that he would pick out a few items to sell. His voice was so meek and pitiful that I felt an urge to take everything back. But then what? If I didn't draw the line, what would happen to our family? Had I not indulged his bad habits, we wouldn't have found ourselves in such a predicament. And I also don't know if he had actually come to his senses, or if he was simply angry with me. The next thing I heard was that our warehouse had caught fire, and both he and the buyer had gone missing.
I see. I understand. Amin Yuya came to purchase a weapon from Mr. Nagato. During the sale, a fire broke out at the warehouse, and both men disappeared.
At first, I assumed they must have gotten into an argument over the price. But my husband has never been one to negotiate. He never even haggles when he's out buying groceries, so it's hard to imagine him getting into a fierce argument.
Maybe he was feeling the pressure from the debts?
I don't know. He just disappeared after the warehouse burned down. Perhaps he's too afraid to come home, now that all his collectibles have been lost in the fire, and he's got no way to pay off our debts. Even though I'm still a little mad at him, we're a family, and I want us to face our family's crisis together. As long as he's willing to turn over a new leaf, I know we can work things out.
Please don't get upset. There could be more to this situation than meets the eye. If collecting things is a habit that Mr. Nagato, but the information we...
A little confusing.
Let's try a change of scenery. Rest assured.
Thank you
Based on the information we've gathered so far, I can only surmise that the sales meeting between the two men with the fire at the warehouse likely... Do you have any thoughts?
Nope, never mind. Paimon's brain needs to rest for a while. Over to you.
Right. I very much agree with you. Working off what we know, the chances are... One fact, Mr. Nagato, the more I ponder it, the more... Right. Amenoma...
Darn!
Let's keep... If we can solve the case, both Mr. Amenoma and Mrs. Nagato will...
Okay, but
Let's head out of the city and...
this must be another one of those, as sketchy as that whole thing seems. You did put it to good use.
Now I'm picking up a...
But there's nothing here.
It's gone now. But I can still sense the door. It felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma. Indeed. We should remain vigilant.
So it's an
The force is definitely the source of the... Judging from the concentration,
Mrs. Nag?
it could well be that he was already under the influence. From what I've been told, but Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with.
So
Step back. I'll open the door and take a look in. If we don't open this door, we can move no... You needn't worry.
what's down?
Everything's buried in debris. It looks like the fire caused a cave-in.
That was too
All we can do now, two ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. Yes, quiet your mind. From this point, the trail appears to split into two. The main source of the Tatarigami energy continued on into the distance, but a small portion remained here. Time to go.
Whoa! Look at all those hilly churls. They're acting really strangely.
Something seems to be drawing their attention. Let's take a closer look. Into the wind! Scatter! As one with wind and cloud! He seems to have stayed here for a long time.
Why here?
I'm not sure, but on closer examination, I sense that... Show yourself!
Kaedehara Kazuha. It's you, at last.
Aha! So what's your problem, huh? What could you possibly have
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. If it is... But what if instead of facing Amenoma Yuya, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
Now that you mention it... Whoa!
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself with the blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting his, or rather, as a means to occupy.
You're sharper than I thought. Many, many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition. I was his pride and joy. In me, he placed all his hopes and dreams. As a descendant of the Kaedehara clan.
I presume it has...
Indeed. He was a bladesmith of... And sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. He not only bestowed upon me the in her conceit, the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single most...
So...
The people of the time in which I was born never after the death of my creator, I seek but one thing. To face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power.
Tell me, what happens to those you've possessed?
My hosts? Who cares when they got tired or...
You're...
After I returned to Inazuma, I decided at long last, I'm approaching my journey's destination. Kaedehara Kazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. There can be no other to serve as my host for what is to come. Now,
Time to go.
submit to me!
Spring forth!
I'll settle this.
The wind knows me.
Show them. I'm always watching.
Wind Strider! Propagate!
Stand with me.
Clouds high. The birds call!
Rewrite history!
Come on out. Right now.
Me.
Right here.
Wind
Rewrite
Strike!
history!
Dissipate. Out of my way.
Do not stand in my way.
Your bluff's fooling no one.
Lost. I can never lose. It is this body. Even if you defeat me here, the one... He is but a puppet that can be replaced. The end result is the... And even if I were to lose my physical form, it is by any means necessary.
Your fighting style. It is in... But from your movements, I sense only hatred.
Really? You can
As I've mentioned before, since the blade is currently possessing Aminome Yuya's body, its movements express the innermost thought. If you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate, single-minded ambition.
Are you trying to claim that on his deathbed, he passed to me all of Ishin Art's secret in that regard?
Because all of that is in... I've been wondering why, now that I've seen... After all the time that's passed...
Oh, that's right.
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell...
And what of it?
Well, that brings me to my second point. You were determined to fulfill your maker's... I think you realized your limit. But the way I see...
What would you know about any of this?
You returned to Ina's even if you were to sever that divine light. Sure, you inherit... How could you possibly...
Silence! I must. I will concede that you are...
And you should face...
Easy for you to say. Face... I have no need of anything that would stand in my way. It is point...
How stubbornly you stick... I do not believe for a second that you can challenge the all...
What?
Very well. Then find yourself some enemies with whom you wish to cross blades. Once we have dealt with them, we
And as for your end of the bargain, if you lose, you...
I
Don't do this, Kazuha!
This is the only way to save Aminome Yuya. The cursed blade's strength is currently very weak, and I sense he's hesitant. The power of the Tatarigami lies...
But...
Even if things take a turn for the worst, we have a chance here to save an innocent victim.
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful... Now.
I felt a little dizzy. It's all right. So far, this was as I expected. I will.
What should we do next?
We find some enemy. Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably had. If a blade built for Ishin art cannot enter a state of harmony between blade and bearer, if he wants to avoid reality, then we need to fight until he has no choice but to face it.
Wait a minute. Paimon remembers hearing about since the Takasukasa clan abandoned that secret base. What about
The blade says he'll let Amenoma Yuya trail us silently. Although he hasn't regained his own consciousness.
Are we sure this is a good idea? Okay,
Leave everything on this journey to me.
There's more!
The wind knows me.
Let's get down to business.
Into the wind. As one with wind and cloud.
how are you feeling? You okay?
I'm all right. Blade is performing largely as I expected. Having gone so long without proper use, and though he's making every effort to persevere, I do not think he can.
Something else on...
How strange. Rather than trying to. Let's keep going.
It's my lucky day.
One with nature.
Finally,
Time to go.
lucky day.
Into the wind. Fallen leaves. Adorn my night.
Something's up with the blade.
I can sense that his strength is slowly fading away. He cannot hold out much longer. If he keeps
But what would that...
I will be careful with it. He also says he does not have any plans. He's still trying to achieve. Into the wind.
Cheap trick. Take this.
Time to go.
Good go. Like this.
Are you okay? It looked like
Yes,
the sheen's grown a bit dimmer again.
perhaps this time we'll finally.
True form? What are you... Is this the same blade as before? It looks...
If you choose to continue in the state you're in, you wouldn't even be able to beat Samurai, and maybe you did truly wield power to rival the Shogun's light when first forged. But the long journey from Snezhnaya back to Inazuma has left you battered. It barely needs stating anymore. Your ambition is a flight of I've finally figured out why it was that you agreed to. You wanted to reach a state of harmony with me. For perhaps then, but regrettably, we are nothing alike. I will never. The only one who truly understood you had already passed away.
There they are. Take them down.
Where do they keep coming from? Yup. We can...
Don't worry. It's just.
Let me
The
try.
wind knows me. That hurt! Wind Strider! Clouds high, the birds call!
You fought way better with your own sword.
You are a true Kaedehara in flesh and in spirit. No one knew anything of my story throughout my travels, nor did I... I thought that if I could achieve Ishin harmony with you, perhaps there would...
But in this too, you have failed.
Indeed. No, too much time has passed. Yours is...
Actually, forging and maintenance are both important. This blade has traveled the land with me for many years, and we have formed a close bond during skill. There is something else I must tell you. Though your maker may not have been aware, your ability to possess your own consciousness derived from the power of the Tatarigami. Tatarigami is a malevolence from the ancient past. It is the source of your... Though you tried to cooperate with me while I was wielding you, the part of you driven by Tatarigami was... I resisted its temptations because I wanted to save Amenoma Yuya. But I do not know whether you yourself have any intention of trying to fight it. I feel a great sense of regret for you. Since you embarked on a journey bound for a destination you were destined never to reach. The moment you embarked on this journey, you lost the only person who could have ever unleashed your true potential. And yet there was no way for you to turn your back on his ambition. You have known this for a long time. It is the true source of your despair.
He gave me everything. My life, my form, my consciousness, and purpose. How could I possibly deny him his wish? I said to him, "Do not worry, from here on I shall forge your legacy." How could I go back on my word?
Aww.
I believe our bet is now settled. I have nothing further to say.
Where are you going, Kazuha?
He now has neither the ability nor the motivation to cause further harm. When I touched the hilt for the first time, it's as if I was transported to a strange dimension. It was somewhere I've never been. A bladesmith lay quietly on the bed, his frail face barely visible under the moonlight. A newly forged blade lay by his side.
Wow.
Indeed. While in exile in Snezhnaya, the bladesmith eventually learned the truth behind everything that had happened. He spent the rest of his... He felt intense so he instructed this sentient blade to find a way back to Inazuma. No matter how long, all he wanted to show was that they once shone brilliantly as blade and smith.
So that's... But after that, the blacksmith's intentions were warped.
Right. I believe the bladesmith might never have known that the power he worked with was that of the Tatarigami. The hatred within that power is what sent the blade down its ill-fated path. This blade has committed unforgivable atrocity. Yes. Time would not wait. He seems to have calmed...
When I look back at the past, I once told him that But darkness, not only did I...
You are finally seeing
Since we agreed to the terms of the bet, but I still cannot bring myself to forsake. So, may I ask you...
Hey! Now you're adding...
It has to be done in this order. At least hear what I have to say. My physical form, as well as the knowledge I possess, should...
His attitude has... What do you think, Kazuha?
Let's hear it.
Thank you all. When I was first forged, my maker was already terminally ill. He told me that he had wanted me to have the grandest opening battle. Alas, after that, he never rose from his sickbed again. Nor have I ever had the chance to prove myself in battle since. My fights were devoid of any noble meaning. They were merely the next step in my never-ending journey. The next in a long line of transgressions. You are a fine warrior. I would like to request your hand in battle and experience a true duel between samurai.
Oh? And who would be the opponent?
I will release Ame no Mayuya and restore his consciousness. Perhaps after that, you can convince him to commit to a fight with you. You must have plenty of reasons to both.
Understood. Then let's start by waking him up.
I see. I utterly despise him and his actions. But since he stayed true to your agreement by if a duel can help to set this state of affairs, I do not wish to be
There's no need to worry.
Thanks for your help. Who knows how this would have ended without—
All right, then let's move on. More Ronin could appear at any moment. We can't stay. In any case, for a final duel, I think we should aim.
This reminds Paimon a bit of the Crux Crash. Yep, we still. Are you ready?
Ready? Okay. Successor of Ishin art, Kaedehara Kazuha.
Successor of Amenoma art, Amenome Yuya.
Honored to cross blades with you.
It is my honor also.
Into the wind. Time to go. The wind knows me. Time to go. Fallen leaves, adorn my night! Wind Strider!
Thank you for the experience. Although he appears battered and broken, in your hands, his sense of savage.
You also fought well. There are a few things that I shall leave him to tell you himself.
I must apologize to you for all that has transpired.
You need not seek my forgiveness. Nor do I. It is too late for all of that.
I do not wish for forgiveness. I strayed far from the straight and narrow. I beseech you.
Yes.
Thank you.
This blade has also told me that he has another wish. He would like... Maybe we can go back there together.
What does he want to...
I am not sure.
I am sorry to have troubled you.
A prized Ishin blade, turned weapon that controls the human mind. Considering their forging philosophy, this was indeed within the realm of possibility. But I have some good news.
Really?
Yes. And now that Yuya...
I think I know what you...
What's wrong, Kazuha? Is the blade...
Yes. He said he wants to take control of...
What? No way! How...
He tells me that he's thought of another way to fulfill his make... I have decided...
You... But... He...
Thank you. Okay. I am ready. Let us begin. Please, stay true to your promise.
My powers strength's almost spent. Without him, my eventual demise is inevitable. But if I abandon the future to give everything I have in this moment, my physical form can be forged anew.
Everything? You mean...
Yes. The cost is my entire consciousness. You were right. There's nothing that I can accomplish now. But there's still a chance for Ishin art. Once remade, I will be a valuable resource for your studies. Ishin lives on, and its finest hour is yet to come. Even if I am not the one to prove its might to the Shogun, as long as it is an Ishin blade, crafted by Kaedehara hands, it will still fulfill his final wish. Thank you, son of the Kaedehara clan. Over the years, my real name has been forgotten by all. I'm ashamed to utter it, yet it remains strong in my mind. Kagotsurube Ishin. This name is now yours to keep.
Rest in peace.
So, that's why he said it had to be done in that order. His consciousness will disappear.
Kagotsurube Ishi. It seems like deep down he disapproved of his own actions. Only in the final moments, before his consciousness faded, was he...
Seems like he really...
The same fervent ambition that gave him the motivation to keep going forward also fueled the stubborn determination that blinded him to the path ahead. Speaking for myself, I'd rather see him recognize... I understand. Hearing his wish, your quest to face the gods, after everything I've seen, perhaps I will continue to support you from this point on. Know that you will have my assistance whenever you need it.
Wait! Shouldn't we also go...
Oh, you're right. And it's also time to get... Time to go.
You've returned. The Tenryou Commission.
Wow, you sure...
Then we needn't recount all the details again. Now, as to your earlier offer, I wish to give you my answer. Please take a look at this blade.
What's this?
Kagotsurube Ishin. A weapon crafted using by means of a series of fortuitous events, I was able to recover and restore him. I also promised him that I will continue to study and pass. And so, it looks like I will likely continue with my journey across. The Kaedehara clan has always been a family of bladesmiths. Were I to accept your goodwill, I may find myself embroiled in conflicts between the shogunate and Sangonomiya. That would not...
You misunderstand. That was most certainly not our intent.
I am aware.
Very well. I can However, if you should ever change your mind or...
Great.
Where will you travel to next, Kazuha?
As for my next destination, let's see where the wind takes me.